top 10 personal favorites. We had a tie at number 9. So I guess there's actually 11 songs on this top 10 for the personal favorites because of the tie between Ants Marching, Say Goodbye, and Seek Up. Number 8 was Warehouse. Bartender came in at number 7. Gray Street was 6. Crush was 5. Pig was 4. The Stone was 3. Two Step was 2. And number 41 was number 1. Then we move on to the top 10 classics. Number 10 is What Would You Say? 9, Jimmy Thing. 8, Warehouse. 7, Crush. 6, Tripping Billies. Dancing Nancy's was number 5. Crash Into Me was number 4. Of course, that's one of the band's biggest hits on the radio. That was really the song that made them huge superstars in the country. Two Step was number 3. Number 41 was number 2. And coming in number 1 on the classic side, of course, is Ants Marching, which didn't have quite as much success on the radio as Crash Into Me, but that was a song that kind of made DMB blow up when their first album came out, and still probably the favorite concert song that they have. And then looking at the best songs, number 10 was The Last Stop. 9, Gray Street. 8, Warehouse. 7, Seek Up. 6, Ants Marching. 5, Bartender. Crush came in at number 4. Two Step was number 3. The Stone was number 2. And number 1, once again, was number 41. You'll be seeing a lot of these songs in the overall top 10 because they meet all 3 criteria for the overall score of being a great song, being a classic, and being personal favorites. So here we go. I don't have a drum machine, but if I did, I'd have the drum roll out right now. The overall songs. Number 10. Is Gray Street. That, of course, is from the Lily White Sessions and then later Busted Stuff. Started off having 3 verses. After DMB played the song on David Letterman and had to shorten it, they cut it down to 2 and apparently liked it that way, so the 3rd verse has never come back. I think if it was there, the song might be even higher than 10. Number 9 is Bartender, which is another great song from the Lily White Sessions and Busted Stuff. It's the song that DMB opened with the night they played a concert after Leroy Moore died, and it was a good choice for that night. The band was very emotional, and the crowd was emotional too, and kind of fit the mood. 8, Crash Into Me, which we already talked about. Kind of a weird video for Crash Into Me. If you've ever seen it. If you haven't, check it out. And coming in at number 7 is Warehouse, another song that DMB has been playing since the very early days. It's named after a big pink warehouse down in Charlottesville, Virginia, the band's hometown. It's a must-see for any DMB fan who goes and visits. And then coming in at number 6, a song that's very closely related to Warehouse in concert, Dancing Nancy's. DMB often plays Dancing Nancy's into Warehouse in concert, as made famous by the live album Live at Red Rocks. I still do it to this day, although not all the time. Dancing Nancy's, of course, has one of the most well-known lyrics by DMB with Could I Have Been Anyone Other Than Me. Now we get into the top 5. Number 5 is The Stone. That's from Before These Crowded Streets. That opened the last concert I was at in Boston in the fall. Great opener. Really like the ending where they slow it down pretty much completely to a full stop and then explode for one last outro. Crush was number 4, another big radio hit for the band that also has some great lyrics, great musicianship, and is really energetic live. Always some great work by Boyd, Tim, and especially Carter on that song. Number 3 overall is Two Step. Two Step, one of the most epic songs in the band's repertoire. Starts off with that riff by Boyd on the violin, and then Dave's intro, and then just explodes and goes all sorts of different directions. I've seen it with drum solos in the middle. There's the famous performance from Giant Stadium about 10 years ago where the band played it in the middle of a thunderstorm with lightning going off all over the place. It's a really great song and a great way to end a show. That brings us down to the final 2, which, if you haven't figured out what they are by now, are Ants Marching and Number 41. But the big question, of course, is which is number 2 and which is number 1? Number 2 is Ants Marching. I already talked about that earlier, but just a great classic song. I don't know anybody who doesn't like Ants Marching, hearing it on the radio, seeing it in concert. And that means that number 1 is Number 41. This song pretty much has it all. It has great lyrics, which a lot of people I think misinterpret to be about a love gone bad, but it's actually about Dave's relationship, a business relationship that Dave used to have that went south, and to have a song with that kind of meaning turn into a fan favorite really speaks to just what a great lyricist Dave is and what great musicians everybody in the band is. My one complaint about that song was that in recent years it's been getting really long, but in the fall 2010 tour, the band did a pretty good job of shortening it down to like 7 or 8 minutes. I think some of the shortest versions that we've seen in a long time, and really tightened the song up. So that's it for the 2010 DMBnews.net song poll. We're going to be posting all of the results on our site, dmbnews.net, along with the archive of this video. If you want more information, you can always visit the site. Follow us on Twitter at DMBnewsNet. We also have a Facebook page. Just search for dmbnews.net. On our site, you can subscribe to the DMB Digest, which is a newsletter that we send out occasionally to let people know what's going on in the DMB world. And if you have any specific questions for me, feel free to drop me a line, Colin at dmbnews.net. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and thanks for supporting the site.